Welcome, welcome, welcome. Just as we're getting close to time, just asking that you've got something to drink there, some water or something fresh or a nice cup of tea, something that makes you feel nice. And we will be starting shortly. Just allowing a few more people to come in. If you have something to write with today, that would be great. Hello. Hello to you all. Hello to you that are here live. And hello to you that will catch up in the recording because you're unable to make it. So anyone who registered will be able to look at the recording. So let's get started, shall we? Very excited to do this with you. Okay. Hello, elephant. All right, so welcome to this Path to Inner Wisdom. It's a masterclass, and today we're talking about returning to yourself. Inner wisdom is in yourself. You're born with it. You live every day with it. And when you're able to tune in, some people call it inner wisdom, some call it higher self, some call it intuition or knowing. There's all sorts of words for it. But that's what we're all talking about today, and what it can do for you and why it's not there for you if it's not there for you. Now, here's this gorgeous, gorgeous elephant. He's here to highlight a point. When he was young, when he was small, his keeper would tie him up, tie his leg up, and tie it to a post. He couldn't move beyond a very small space. Over time, he learned that that's just the way it was. Now, decades later, if anyone ties a rope to his back leg, he doesn't move away from there. No barriers, no posts, nothing to hold him back from moving around, from moving beyond that comfort zone. It is a sad story, and it's a story that happens to all of us. It happens to all of us because what is keeping him there is old beliefs, the old belief that he cannot, that there's a rope that's holding him back, and he cannot do something else. The fear of the unknown. Not only is it something he can't do, but he's never done before, has no idea what's there. There is a lack of clarity. He's not aware that there is no post. He's not aware that the rope is only tied to his leg. And there's the emotional low. So his state of mind is not one where he's eager to be curious and to try new things. These, of course, apply to all of us. These are the things that hold us, that keep us stuck, and that hold us in our comfort zones in any part of life. Thank you, elephant. My name is Nathalie PV, and I'm thrilled that you are here joining us. I do have my assistant here, Bella, and she will let you in. She would have let you in if you came in after we started, and she'll continue to do so. So thank you. Thank you to Bella. So, yes, who am I? Well, who am I? I am a mindset expert. I'm also an expert in intuition. This is because it means so many different things to so many different people, and a lot of people can do with some support in those areas. So in this in today's masterclass, so you've got today's and tomorrow. Today you're really going to grasp the concepts and the pillars of connection and intuition, and you're going to see what they mean to you, and if there's anything you'd like to play with or do something with. Everything we approach today, I'd like you to approach with kulalai. What is that word I hear you say? Well, it's a word I made up. Language is a living thing, and believe it or not, we're allowed to make words up. Whether they stick around and stay, that's another thing, but we're allowed to make them up. It's a living language. Kulalai is approaching things with curiosity, lo, love, lai, lightness. Everything we do today, we're going to approach with kulalai. I do need to remind you of that because some of us like to do things well and like to do things thoroughly and properly. And sometimes we get lost in how serious we are. We don't need to be serious for this. This is not a blueprint, not a scaffolding way for you to complicate life. It is a way for you to make it easier. It is a way for you to find out how to tune into that inner knowing, that inner wisdom, with all the distractions, with all the things that pop up, with all the uncertainties, everything that's going on around you. How can you still tap into that and then have that feeling of I'm in the right place at the right time? My personal story. How did I get here? Why am I even doing this? Well, around 6 years ago, I asked myself the question, if this is the road that I'm on, this is the carriage that I'm on, and these are the rails that are taking me, if I am still here in 5 years, if I am still here in 10 years, how do I feel about that? My life from the outside looked perfect. My life from my own logic looked perfect. I have a healthy family, a loving relationship with my husband. We have our house. Everything's going well. We have fantastic friends. Why was I feeling inside me that if that was life in 5 or 10 years, I could not bear the thought? I felt like a void, and I've now coined it the mysterious void of fulfillment. You feel that there's something missing and you don't know what it is, and you don't know how that came to be, that there was something missing. When analyzing and looking at my life, it was perfect. So that's when I started to do some work, and it's from about that time. So this is work specifically on this because I have been doing work on myself for decades, but specifically around what you're learning today, that's when I started to discover, make sense of it, simplify it. I don't like to follow something that is do this, do this, do this, and there's not much leeway for doing things my way. And when I say doing things my way, I mean doing things in a way that work the best for me. So I have developed now this method, and it's called the ICTA method, and we're going to be looking at some of that today. So, why am I doing this? I am doing this because I truly believe that if every person was their whole person without all the noise around them that makes them smaller, then if everyone was who they are as a whole, that would be of so much benefit to all their loved ones, and then, of course, on a bigger scale, for our entire planet that I love dearly. So I'm doing this in a selfish way. Every person that I can help along the way, every person that I can inspire along the way is a bonus for me, because they're making this planet a better place to live in. And don't we need that now? Okay, have you ever felt stuck? Do you feel stuck now? It's not a good feeling. You feel like there's no options. You can't get off that wagon. You can't get off the train. You are stuck there. Fog is a great way of representing that. If there's fog all around you, you end up not knowing. You can't see any landmarks. You can't see if you are going in the right direction, if you're going in the direction of where the best life possible is taking you. You cannot see. All that matters is looking down that you can take one step safely. You take that one step, you are one step closer to your destination, regardless of which direction you're going in. Movement is crucial. Movement is crucial, and that goes with everything we do in life. Movement is absolutely crucial, even if you're not 100% sure that it's the right direction. We learn, don't we? We learn, and that's what matters. We grow, and then wherever we are is the right place. So, what is the foundation of the work you're seeing today? I'll put them all there so you can see them. So, what we've got is all the themes that we're looking at. So I'm just going to explain them so that you and I will then know what we're talking about when we say these words. So disconnection comes from a signal of misalignment. So that feeling of being disconnected, that feeling of being other, of being just a little bit out of whack, just a bit wrong, that is disconnection. And we're going to look in what alignment looks like, what misalignment is, and how that comes to be. Clarity. Well, that's when the fog lifts, isn't it? That's when the fog lifts. So clarity is when the noise decreases. It's not when the effort increases. So what I mean by that is there's a lot of internal and external noise, and it can become overwhelming. Internal noise is things that you're thinking about, things you think you should be doing, impressions of what you should be doing. It's everything that is making you not do. It's everything that's making you keep stuck. It's the fog. The noise is the fog. And you don't need more effort. You don't need more effort to get through the fog. All you need to do is sit back, breathe a little, move a little, and the fog will start to lift. What happens when you have a lot of inner noise? I'm calling inner noise because your thoughts. So it's analyzing, it's judging, it's doubting, it's questioning, it's looking back, it's looking forward, it's never been in the present, but just a lot of noise. What this does is it blocks your intuition, and we'll look a lot further into intuition, but just to let you know where we're going, intuition is a sense of knowing. It's a knowing that didn't come from analysis, that didn't come from logic. So we want our intuition because our intuition always guides us. It's our own inner wisdom, and it is always guiding us towards what we most need in that moment for our best life possible, for our life where we have the most amount of joyous moments, where we move forward with energy and alignment, is often simply acknowledging the truth. You can't acknowledge the truth of what is without being in the what is, which means right here in the present moment, not in what has happened, not in what's going to happen, but really in the present moment. And of course, alignment is that truth, so that what's going on inside and what's going on outside, so your actions and what's inside are aligned. And that feels wonderful. It feels so good. It feels like it's a lot more effortless. Can things still go wrong? Of course they can. They're coming from the outside beyond your control. Of course, things are going to pop up, but it's much easier to deal with them. It's much easier to put things into perspective. It's a lovely place to be. Fulfillment is that alignment. Okay. So what's going on in this masterclass? This masterclass, Path to Inner Wisdom, it's over 2 days. So today you have come to part 1, and then tomorrow we'll move on to part 2. Now, some of you did mention to me that you couldn't make it tomorrow. Not a problem. The recording of tomorrow will be available on Monday, and I'll send you the link via email for day 1 and day 2, because some people are coming tomorrow, couldn't come today. So no problem at all. And you'll have 7 days to watch those, so no problem. Today, these are the steps that we're going through. So arrive and reconnect. Now that you've got some sort of idea of where we're going, I would like you to set an intention for this session. The way I'd like you to do that is to make it as broad or narrow as it suits you. Example of broad. I would like to be present during this masterclass. Nice and broad, just letting your brain know this is where you want to be. Something narrow. I would like to get at least 3 things that I can do for myself in the coming week. And these 3 things will stem from this masterclass. Very precise. Anywhere in between, do something that works for you. I'll give you a moment to think about it and to jot it down. Jot it down. Okay. So today we're going to be looking at intuition, and we're going to be looking at connection. These are 2 pillars. They can be done in any order. They're pillars. There's not one that necessarily comes before the other, but they're both crucial to get to that place where you can access your own inner guidance, your own inner wisdom. So the path has to start here. The path must start at the top where there's some sort of frustration. It can be in any part of your life, somewhere where you're feeling disconnected, you're feeling stuck, you're feeling like you know that the place you're in is not right, but you don't know how to get out of there. You're feeling that lack of clarity. You don't seem to be able to get out of it, and you're not sure what to do. So that's a normal place for us all to be in many times in our lives, and that's the work that I work around. So with my clients, we work around these. I am lucky enough that learning is something that I adore doing. So I have been for a while now a certified coach. I am in results coach. It's also called dynamic coaching, which means it's a mixture between traditional and some really incredible, fantastic techniques that help to remove what the elephant had, to help remove old beliefs, to help look into conflicting values, to look at fears, and to look into any sort of emotional blocks and release those. So that's the work that I'm so thrilled to be doing. Today, let's move on to nature of confusion and disconnection. So, how does that even come to be? How? So there they are. They come from the confusion comes from the external expectations. Often we think they're external expectations, but if we look at it closely, they're actually internal. I'll show you an example. I'm doing it like this because that's how my boss wants me to do it. Okay? Is that your perception of how they want you to do it? Or have they straight out said that's how you want to do it? Oftentimes, we've come to that conclusion, and the boss may be completely open to you getting the same result and doing it in a different way. So external expectations are multi-layered. Internal pressures you put on yourself. These are very often the strongest ones, and they can come from beliefs. Things like there's only one way of doing this, and it's by spending all my energy to do it. That's the only way I'm going to be a good mother, is if all my energy comes into being an extraordinary mother. That would be internal pressure. Lack of present moment awareness. This one is huge and it's so easily missed. So easily missed. We are so busy. We are busy, busy, busy people. And we are conditioned to be busy. If we are not busy, we are being lazy. If we are not busy, then what are we good for? So we are busy, 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 busy. Very much like a bee or an ant. So the present moment and the awareness of the present moment is absolutely crucial. Otherwise, all that confusion and disconnection that's going around is just not going to lift. It will not lift. So when you have those, you get informational overload. You start, well, some people are in certain places of your life relying on external validation. So the external validation is for somebody else to let you know that you're doing okay. Or this validation doesn't have to be positive. External validation can even be negative. If somebody reacts to you in a negative way, it's still a validation that you're there. So validation, external validation is something, yes, to be careful of. It's nice when you get it, but you don't want to rely on it. So we're doing this present moment so that clarity can naturally emerge. That's what we're doing. So that fog can lift. Look at that water. Those drops of water, how confused and disconnected are they? The current's pushing them one way. The rocks are pushing the current the other way. The wind is coming yet another way. You've got all these incredible forces pushing these little droplets of water all over the place, all over the place. That drop of water wanted to go from one side of that channel to the other. Oh, good luck. And doesn't it feel like that? Doesn't it feel like that? So that's completely, completely normal. It's one of my strengths, I believe, is to make things that are really complex and try to turn them into something really practical and a whole lot more simple so that it's just one little thing that you think, ah, yes. The awareness of the present moment is a really big one. So if you notice that you are being that droplet of water or that you are standing there in that fog, whatever works for you, but just remember that there's easy way out, and being in the present moment is the most efficient way to do it. We're going to be looking now into the pillar. So we're looking into the pillar of connection, and we're doing connection first because that's where it starts from. I'm talking about connection with yourself and connection you have with others. For example, connection with others is if you have a good connection, you will feel energized once they leave. If it's a connection that is not aligned, then you will feel drained after they leave. So it's a matter of being really aware of the connections. Now, the same thing can happen with you and yourself. And of course, best case scenario is that you have a really healthy connection with yourself. So I'm going to get you to rate yourself on these pillars. It's really important to rate yourself. The reason it's important is because it gives you a clear and a clarity around where you are now. There is no judgment. It simply is. And from there, it helps you to move in the direction that you want to go to. It also helps people like myself who like to see if I'm improving in the areas that I want to improve in. It's really great to actually have a measurement. So the way you're going to do this is you're going to rate yourself from 1 to 10. And the way that you do this, I'm going to tell you what's 1 and I'm going to tell you what is 10. So 1, of course, you're completely disconnected with yourself. You never contemplate how you truly feel or what you truly want. And you keep friends, even those whose company leaves you feeling poorly. Feeling poorly about yourself and feeling poorly overall, yeah. Now 10. 10 is you have the best connection with yourself. You regularly check in and to make sure you're doing what's right for you at the time, and you're aware of your connections. You have a strong support network around you and people who can champion you in different areas of your life. So that's 1 to 10. So the trap here is to overthink it. We're not actually thinking at all. We're just going, today, in terms of connection from all that Nat just said, where do I sit on a scale of 1 to 10? Number that pops up is the number you write down. Excellent. Connection. Oh, connection. You have to be aware of something, of a problem, of an issue, of a niggling thought, of something. You have to be aware of it in order for it to change. If you are not aware of it, you will not change it. And you would have seen this a lot over your life in other people. It's very easy to see in other people, much harder in ourselves. In other people, it looks like you can tell that they're not doing what they should be doing, that they could be so much happier. And when you talk about it with them, no, they're completely happy. They're completely fine. Everything's okay. There's no change going to happen in their life. So awareness is the first step. Honest recognition, no judgment. Remember Kulalai? Curiosity, love, and lightness. It's honest recognition of where it is that you're at. That's it. Not saying, no, that's because of this and giving excuses and making it what you think might be better. No, just honest recognition. You're the only one who can do it for yourself. Do it. So most misalignment comes from a lack of presence. Lack of presence is a lack of being in the present, in the moment. You know that book, In the Now? Oh, what a great book. Imagine a beautiful setting. There's a gorgeous lake, and every time something falls into it, ripples appear. And they break up the surface. Every little thing that falls in, ripples, some tiny ripples, some great big ripples, waves. Now, the idea that we could smooth out that lake by forcing the ripples to stop, by forcing the ripples never to come in the first place. Doesn't it seem ludicrous compared to simply waiting? Simply waiting for when the wind's died down, everything's going still, and then the water just flattens. Absolutely gorgeous. Magic. Magic. So the idea that when we've got a lot of ripples going, that we need to force them out doesn't work. We just have to wait for them to settle. I'd like you to ask yourself this question. What is true right now under all that thinking that's going on? What is true right now? It's something that's empowering. It's something that is true about you right now. What is true right now under the thinking? Have a little think. I'm going to give you a bit of time to write that down. I'd love you to share if you're feeling up to it. If you can share those in the chat, that would be really good. People looking at the recording, you won't be able to see the chat. But that's one of the nice things about being live. Yeah, that's beautiful. Oh, I love these. You can keep these for you for the day. They're very meaningful to you today. Mm. So alignment, what's alignment? Well, alignment is when you are being with your present truth. You're being with it, and then you're also keeping up with your evolving identity. Your identity today cannot be the same it was 10 years ago. It's not possible. The things that you've learned, how you've grown, how your belief of how things are and how the world works has shifted, has evolved, has changed. You cannot have the same identity now as you did then. Knowing this is keeping up with your current identity. And that's really hard to do if you don't sit in the present moment. I always hate it when people do something. Oh, I always hate when people, no, sit in the present. Is that the old you talking? Does it really bother you when people do that? No, not anymore. That's right. So I'm no longer a person who gets annoyed by a person doing whatever it was that used to annoy me. Okay? That's just one little example, but we have that in all facets of our lives. So the misalignment happens when you get that identity lag, when you're still using the stories of times gone, you're still using them as if they were still relevant for who you are today. Of course, this makes a lot of internal conflicts because it's not right. The values have shifted. Values are amazing. Values for the brain are all that matters. It will encourage you to do whatever it has the highest value at the time. The highest value is the one for the brain, for your subconscious, is the one that's least likely to hurt you in a way that something similar has hurt you in the past. That's what it does. It keeps you safe. It's certainly not always right. It's actually often wrong. So being aware of your values, I do a lot of value work too. Um, Values, conflicting values, shadow values, they are so important. And once you know them, that clarity, ah, the horse and the reins, this inexperienced rider, experienced person, in life, riding this horse is in control of the reins at all times, is pulling on those reins at all times. The horse does its best to follow the instructions, but the signals are all over the place and they are constant. After a while, the horse knows that it's no use. It's no use trying to follow the instructions. They don't make sense. It's just too much. So it starts to ignore them, starts to completely ignore them. That's what happens when you don't trust your intuition. When you don't trust your intuition, that part of thinking that just pops up doesn't pop up because you've been working it out, because you've been analyzing it, because you've been weighing it. No, it just pops up. In order for intuition to happen, control must be released. Those reins, you've got to drop those reins. You've got to allow some room. You cannot have your intuition or hear your inner wisdom without giving away control. Very hard for us that as a shadow have control. However, we can learn and life's so much easier. That brings us to intuition. This is the second pillar that we're looking at today. Pillar 1, which is intuition. I'll explain what I mean by intuition. You've seen a little bit already now with the horse and reins metaphor, but I'm going to tell you a little bit more and then I'm going to ask you to rate yourself on it. So you have got many different types of ways that intuition shows up for you. Intuition and instinct are different. They are distinct. Intuition, let me say instinct first. Instinct is the part of your brain that is the only part that works when your brain senses that there is danger. If there is danger, then whoop, you go into that part of your brain, and this is where the instincts kick in. I'm sure you've heard of fight, flight, or fawn, or freeze. Those are the 4 main ways that people's instinct will kick in. You don't get to choose which one is yours. It just is. So that's instinct. We're talking about intuition. So intuition has got many names. Some people call it inner knowing. Some people call it inner wisdom. It can be called higher self. It's the intuition is your own wisdom that has the bigger picture, therefore knows what you're really good at and what you'll excel in and be more than happy in. Intuition is, some people use it to make choices when they really don't know which one. Then they'll get to that place where they can hear their intuition or feel their intuition or see their intuition or sense their intuition or know their intuition. It looks so different to so many people. I'll try to give as many examples as I can so that you can identify some that are happening and true for you. So when you think of the score that you're going to rate for yourself for intuition, let's think about it. 1 is you don't listen to your intuition anymore. You don't know what it is. You don't know how to listen to it. It's a concept you understand, but it just doesn't happen for you. You think it's just imagination, or you think it's your logic, but you can't make a difference between imagination and intuition. 10, you're in complete harmony, and you're in harmony with your intuition and in every way that it shows up for you. You trust it unwaveringly and it's always correct. That's 10. So where do you currently sit in terms of your intuition? You and your intuition. Write that number down next to intuition. We're doing this with kulalai, with curiosity. I wonder where I'm at. Love and lightness. Where you are is exactly where you're meant to be. So let's see where this brings us. Intuition. Yes. Isn't that gorgeous? As I mentioned earlier, it is the immediate knowing that is not dependent on reasoning. Some people call it a gut feeling, right? Some people, they're just drawn to whatever. Some people, uh, they'll hear their own voice. Some people will hear their grandmother's voice. Some people will just get a flash of an image, of a memory or something that makes sense at the time. So all of this is intuition. And however you listen to it, how much you can hear it or sense it, it's okay. And if you want it more and you want to develop it more, then I've got some tips here for you today. And it's certainly something that it's not a switch. You don't have intuition off, intuition on. But there are ways to really build it for yourself and ways to play with it. So animals are an incredible reference, a reference for intuition. When I talk about animals today, I mean all animals. I mean your pets, and I mean wildlife. I mean friends' pets. I mean animals wherever they are. If they're insects, fish, birds, reptiles, mammals, whatever marsupials, whatever they are a reference because their their behavior is very much a responsiveness to the environment that they're in and to their internal state. So they're very much living in the present. Okay? They are they're present rather than analyzing. Okay? They don't sit there and analyze and think things over. Sometimes they look like they do, but not in the way that humans do, which is to our detriment. They have immediate truth perception. They can feel your mood, right? They can feel your mood. You know that. They can feel other people's moods. I mean, let's face it, you can feel people's moods. Hey, in that room when someone who's really angry walks in, even if they're trying to pull their face so that it's as neutral as possible, you can still feel it. That's your intuition. So animals are fantastic at that. They're a great reference. The example of the dog at the door, if you have a dog, you would have seen this, and if you don't, you've probably heard of it. But a loved one is coming home. Their car has appeared nowhere. Like it is not visible. The loved person is not visible. However, the dog is at the window, is at the door, is somewhere where they're looking exactly where that loved person is going to appear. They know that that person is coming home. In fact, some people, that's how they know. They're like, oh yes, Roger's coming home. Look, Millie's gone. Millie's gone. She's standing at the window. So that's their intuition. Now they're not debating it at the time. They're not going, is Roger really coming home? Probably not. I don't know why I thought that. I don't see him. He's not there, so nah, probably not. No, there's no debate. It's just the truth. It's coming home, and that makes me super happy and super excited. So it's direct, it's uncomplicated. So animals can be mentors in that sense. They can remind us of this, right? because through their behavior, they're showing us how we could be too. So they're a direct model of living in the present moment, and they're star models in terms of strong intuition. I love this photo. Do you know those times when you're outside and a bug decides that you're the one that it wants to land on today? It always makes me feel so happy when they do that, because they could have gone anywhere, could have gone anywhere today. I wouldn't even known their existence, but yet here they are, and I'm able to be in the present for that moment with them. And it's really precious, and it's really calming, and it's special. And that smile on her face says it all. It's always on mine too. Now, so animals, we saw they can be models. They can be role models in terms of intuition. They can also be mentors, because they're showing us how they're just trusting that knowing. They can also be guides to our own wisdom. So when we're not able to listen to our own wisdom, they will do things in order for us to be able to. They will do that physically. For example, you've been stuck in this loop of thoughts and it's going round and round, it's not getting anywhere. You're getting a bit frustrated, but not enough to notice and not enough to stop. Your cat notices this. Your cat comes and distracts you, rubs itself against your leg, gives a purr, very loud purr, meows, is vocal, does something. The dog jumps, the bird starts to twitter. Whatever it is, they're actually there as a mentor. They have noticed you're in a loop of thoughts and that you're getting yourself into this state that is becoming negative, and they're just getting you to pull out of it. I'm sure you've got examples of that happening. It happens all the time. Now, this is where I need you to have a bit of an open mind and just be open-minded and know that this does happen to some people. Some people will get a flash of an image, and that flash of an image will get them distracted long enough to notice that they were in a loop and to get out of it. This image, I can hear you saying, yeah, but how did it not just come from you? We're talking about animals right now and animals as mentors, so I'm letting you know that an animal can send you an image. I know it's a lot to wrap your head around, and that's completely fine. How do I know this? I know this because I have done almost 6 years of work around connection with animals, intuition, and how can animals let you know of things that would be great for you to be aware of in a way that is that's making sense to you. And with so many different people, there's different ways, and different times for the same person is different ways. And I've experienced all of these that I'm sharing myself at some point in time. An inner voice can appear as well. Some people don't notice the difference between the inner voice and their own inner voice. The only difference is that they have never worded it that way. They've never noticed themselves doing it in this manner in this point in time. So it's an inner voice. Some people will hear their own voice. So it's their own voice, like your thought voice, in their head. And some people will hear different sounding voices. And I'm not talking about any type of mental state or condition. I'm talking about the inner voice, which is the voice of wisdom. Okay, so it's the intuition. and whether it's your intuition, and here we're talking about intuition of an animal. How did I get here? How did I get here to work on this and to work all this out and to be able to put it all together? So this boat here was our first boat when I was a child. I got that when I was 8 years old and lived on it. L'îlot means little island in French. I am from French-speaking background. I'm originally from Switzerland. My parents were globetrotters, and I lived on a boat. Away from everything was where my parents were in their happy place. Not so much me, but that's okay. I learned to live with it. Um, Sailing itself, I found an awful bore. I couldn't believe how long it would take to get from here to there when all I wanted to do was to get there. And then once I was there, my brother and I would go on shore. My brother and I are twins, and we would then play and make cubbies and nests for animals and all sorts of things. While sailing, though, there was no purer joy or purer, that sense of being so happy that you're alive in that moment. Yeah, when dolphins would come, that was the feeling. It was the best thing ever. Now, back then, I didn't know about all the wonderful, wonderful exchange that you can have with animals, other than the one that we would have, and it was absolutely wonderful. But that was definitely a huge foundation for me to then explore further into this world where animals can be mentors, and they can be mentors in the way of reminding us to do things because of how they do it, but then also in the sense that they can help you with states of mind, and they can help you with information and with things that will make your life better. So that's a very, very exciting world. Now, we're going to be looking at how can you, let me just have a quick look. We're going to be looking at how it is that you can, yes, what can you do about it? You've learned a little bit about connection. You've learned a little bit about intuition. What can you do? I'm just going to come back to you fully. There we go. And then I get to see you because I don't see you when I'm on the other one. So that's lovely. Unless I do a few things there. So, yeah. So what we're doing is exploring and looking at what you could do so that you can get that sense of connection with yourself more. And also, what can you do to tap into that amazing intuition? Some people say, well, my intuition, I just want it when I'm making a decision. Like, is it A or B? And I can't decide, so I've got to use my intuition to choose. Sure, absolutely. You can use it for that, but that's just one tiny part of what you can approach intuition with kulalai, curiosity, love, and lightness. So one thing you could do is put aside, I'd say about 10 minutes, 5 minutes minimum. So about 10 minutes where you can go and sit somewhere where there is going to be some wildlife. There is going to be some wildlife, or where your pet will be. We don't want pet that's super excited and wants to play, because we want to live. Yes, you can live in the present and play, absolutely, but we're trying to do connection and intuition at the same time. So we'd like to be in a real state of calm. So sit yourself down, take a few deep breaths. That's what you do. And then you will be aware. So really be in the present moment and be aware of what is going on around and who's around. Who's around? Oh, yes, there's a little spider there building that amazing web. There's, oh, something fluttering there. Is it a little butterfly? It's too far to see. There'll be things scuttling around. There'll be lizards. There'll be all sorts of bugs and insects. There'll be up higher in the trees. There'll be birds if you've got magpies coming to the ground. The kookaburras are around. There's always, you sit there for 5 minutes, I guarantee you're going to see something. The other thing I guarantee will come is your thoughts. So this is where those of you that do meditation, you know what to do with the thoughts. Some people just go, thank you, pop them in a balloon and let them go. Some people shelve them. Some people pop them in a river and let them float away. Do whatever works for you. You can also have a little chat to them and say, hey, I'll see you in 10 minutes. And then trying to keep the mind as blank as possible. It's not possible to keep it blank all the time. And if you're like me, oh my gosh. But as soon as you can be aware of what's going on, then the thoughts you'll notice will move away from, oh yeah, and I got to do that. And oh, don't forget this. And oh yeah, that was good when I did that. And it moves more towards, oh, that's gorgeous. Oh, look at the color of that leaf. Now, I know some of you that are here today are artists. And so for you, I would say, have fun looking with your artist eye. See how the light touches some of these animals. How does the light reflect? What colors appear that maybe aren't usually part of them? Whatever works for you and whatever brings you that sense of presence. And then you can ask a question. Of course, you're asking yourself the question. We are trying to tune in to your intuition, so to your own wisdom. So it could be something like, what would be the best thing for me to do next after this? What would be the best thing for me to do? Okay. Now, when you ask the question, you have to be 100% committed to the answer. You can't then have the answer and go, oh, no, I don't want to do that. No, if you ask the question, you commit to the answer. So think about your question. This is where thinking does happen. If, for example, the question that I just asked, if what comes to you then is like, oh, I could really asleep. Oh, I could just so do with a sleep when you just feel like, oh, yes, that's blissful. And then as you come out from that blissful thought, you're like, oh, but I got all this stuff to do and I really can't. Yes, you can. 5 minutes. A real sleep, a power nap, is anywhere between 15 and 20 minutes. You must put an alarm on, and that should not impact your night's sleep. So, yeah, do something like that. Or you can ask if it's in the morning and you just can't figure out which jumper to wear, you're like, well, which jumper would be the best for me today? See what turns up. Have fun. This is really, really fun. What you're doing to your brain every time you do that is you're letting it know that when those thoughts come from that place, it's safe to listen, it's safe to carry through, it's okay, it's safe, it's okay. If you go no and you override and you're overriding your intuition, yes, that just rang a bell because I just saw a question there. By the way, that's absolutely, if you want to put questions into your into the chat, just do that whenever the question brings up. I will do some questions very soon and then you can ask them, but I'll be looking at those too. So there was someone there that was asking, can you give an example of overriding your intuition? So that's it. So it's just told you, well, you just got the urge or the sense that it would be so good to have a sleep, and then through logic and through analysis, you're like, well, no, actually I can't. that's overriding intuition. And that's something you do not want to do, because then you're telling your brain, when you get that information coming from intuition, just ignore it. That's the control. You're using the reins again. Okay. So we don't want that. We don't want that. We want intuition to be a lot freer than that. Okay. And you've still got the reins because you're still choosing the question you're asking it. Okay. Yeah. So you still, those of you that love control, you've still got some control. Okay. So where have we been? So today we have been all in these parts there. Oh, you can't see that because I'm not sharing it. Thanks. Isn't that funny how you don't see things that I don't share? Hmm. So what we'll do is we'll share. I'm getting faster at this. Isn't that wonderful? Okay. Yes, please. And current, current. There we go. That should work. So we've seen the why we feel disconnected. We've seen alignment versus misalignment. We've seen clarity. We've seen the pillars of my ICTA method, which is intuition and connection, were both two pillars that we saw. Remember, one doesn't come before the other. So they're just two pillars. And then tomorrow we shall move on to transitioning with grace and acceptance. Now, after that, we will do a visualization of what it's like to be in a place where all of these are nice and strong. And oh, it's so good. I can't wait for you to do that. That'll happen at the end of tomorrow's class. So now I would really like to open the floor to any questions. Start thinking about what they are, and I'll answer some of the questions that are already here. So the first one, what's that one? So the person is saying, something is stopping me from moving forward. I notice it, but I don't know what to do. What do I do? Oh, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. What do I do? What do I do? So something is stopping me from moving forward. Oh, yeah. Okay. It's a great story. I'm saying story because I'm already thinking of the answer. So being aware of it, so being in the present moment, being aware of it, sometimes that can shift things just through the awareness. So that's fantastic that you're already aware that something is stopping you. If you're aware that it's stopping you and you know what's stopping you, so when I say what's stopping you, is it a belief that you have in yourself or what you're able to do or what you're not able to do? Um, is it something that you feel is just blocking you? Now, a lot of people feel that it's blocking them. They actually physically feel a heaviness in the chest, a heaviness in the throat, something hurting them in the back, something in the back of their head when they think of that thing. It just appears. So that's also something that's an emotional block. Now that's a bit trickier, and having someone who can help you to lift that is definitely the path that I always take. I find getting someone's help is so much more efficient in terms of emotional blocks. Some people use movement, dancing, and they feel it and then they release it that way. There's lots of techniques to do that. Um, I certainly help my clients with that, with some very powerful techniques. Um, so does that answer your question? Yeah, okay, good. So I see another one there. Um, how do you understand what they're telling you? How do you understand what they're telling you? Okay. I think I think that's yeah, that's about the animals. Okay. How do you understand what they're telling you? So intuition comes into play a lot, and what you've been able to understand so far is very strongly linked to intuition already. So when a pet asks you for food, or a pet asks you to go for a walk, or a pet asks you to move, or a pet asks you to stop doing what you're doing, they do this in a way that you can really hear. Um, I imagine the telling is more of more subtle things. And if it's more like words or images that you're alluding to, then there are techniques and ways to tap into that and to be open to receiving, I suppose, that information. Um, there's a 4-week course that I run that's all we do. We look at ways of doing that, and how do we set ourselves up to be able to um, hear. How did you word it? What they're telling you. Yeah. How to hear what they're telling you. And not all people hear, right? There's lots of different ways because your intuition works in different ways. But yes, it's very fun. It's very fun. But there's definitely techniques in order for you to remember. We all apparently did it when we were very small children. Babies can all do it. So, um, yeah, I hope that answers your question. Um, yes, you might have come after that. There's uh, not here tomorrow, so yes, the recordings will be available on Monday. On Monday, I'll send you an email with the link to the recordings of this session and tomorrow's session, and you can have a look at them. They'll be up for 7 days, so until Monday morning following, or Sunday night, sometime like that. Uh, Members of the Nest who are in my community, my online community, the Nest, which is not on social media, you will get the recordings for longer because, well, because you're part of the community. So that's a little bonus that you get. So you have more time if there's anything you want to revisit as well. At any time, if any of you have any questions for me, or you'd like to know more about anything that I do or that I mentioned, or that you would like to know if you can get help with, this is me. I run all my programs. I am an authentic person. I tell you how it is. And if I can help you in any way, I will let you know. A chat with Nat is the way to go. And in your emails, you will get a link to how to book a chat with Nat. Otherwise, of course, you can access me in the ways that you've accessed me so far, whether that's social media, messenger, email, SMS, however you like to. I'd love some of your feedback. If you can give me some feedback about this session, things that went well for you, things you liked, things you would have liked to have more of, things that you didn't understand why it was there. Any feedback is fantastic for me. I can only learn and grow if I get feedback. So I'd love to hear from you. I will see you tomorrow if you're here tomorrow, or I will see you in tomorrow's recording when you view that. It's been a pleasure being with you. Have a lovely end to your day.